1, 2, 3, 4.
I should talk into the mic. I was saying this is an experiment. Let's see if Facebook and YouTube block this song. Here's the funny thing about this song. My band wrote it. We wrote it. We own this song. So let's see if we actually and performed it. So I tried to do some music intros last week for the Morning Buzz Show, and Facebook and YouTube subsequently blocked the audio from where the music was playing. And so this is an experiment I'm conducting this morning to see if they actually block the song, because I own it. My band and I, we own this. We wrote it. We performed it. It's called Coming Home by All Kicks. So I want to see if it's banned. But because I really like the music intro. It kind of sets the tone. It kind of gives you a good, I don't know, like a shot in the arm, get the morning going right. I wrote this song with my bandmates in 2015. It was the story of, my microphone's a little jacked up. Stand by. It's the story of obviously me and my family coming back home to the Central Coast after being gone for so long. And all right, this is really making me mad. It's like not tight enough or something. We came back home to the Central Coast after being gone for a number of years, and my band and I had been together since 2010, and we played a lot of live shows here on the Central Coast, and and I was traveling up here to play shows on the weekend at wineries and all kinds of places, and so finally we decided to move home in 2015, and we started writing some new music. We wrote a song called Paso Made, and we put that out and had a lot of fun with that. And then we wrote this one, was called Coming Home, and the words are something like, hold on, let me start it over. I'll sing it. Here, this is karaoke. This is what we do. You guys hear that? This might be the lamest thing ever, me doing karaoke to my own song. This is the instrumental version. All right, so the lyrics go like this. We were living 200 miles from nowhere. The thought of coming home so far away. Well, 20-something years old, a little young, a little bold, but ignorance is bliss, or so they say. Little short on money, little long on dreams. We were trying to make a life of our own. Sunrise to sunset, we were hedging all our bets. Never gambled on coming home. No, we're never coming home. All right, so that's Coming Home by the Small Kicks. That's my band. Good morning. It is, what is it? It's Wednesday, the 31st of March, and milestone birthday yesterday in the Brady house, 18 for Miss Abigail. And so thank you so much for everybody that wished her well. Look at, I just had all kinds of people watching and then just drop off when I finished singing. That was weird. So maybe I should keep going. Or maybe it was the reverse. They dropped off when I started singing. I don't know. We have a packed show today. We have all kinds of people coming on. Anthony's going to give us the news at 7:15, 7:20. We've got Shauna Soltero coming on, a real life soccer mom. She's going to talk about, what is she talking about? Soccer. Her son plays soccer. And then she's also going to talk about the virtual Easter egg hunt. Sorry, I was getting a text while I was talking and I got sidetracked. Mr. Mack is coming in today, and he's going to talk about all things Templeton athletics and activities, all the things that are happening on campus today. Mr. Lewis is going to give us our weekly history lesson. I love the history lessons from Mr. Lewis. That's something that I look forward to as a history buff. I love learning about history. And so he will be in here. Sorry, I got that in my eye. I'm just really not prepped today. My bad. Coach Crow's going to join us. Oh, 7:55, another check on what's going on around the county, incidents and actions with Mr. Anthony Reed. Coach Crow's coming in at 8 o'clock, whether it's on the phone or if he's got his video going. I'm not sure, but we'll make it happen either way. We're going to do something a little different with the district update today. I want to get to know Mr. Asplin and Mr. Burnett. Who are the men behind the men? So I've got some questions that I'm going to ask them so we can put get to know them a little better. And I think it's super important to find out things about people. So district update with those guys. We're going to have fun with them today. And then I have another 8:55 check-in with Mr. Anthony Reed, Paso Robles incidents and actions. And then a special guest addition to the show. This is somebody that's going to help get me and keep me motivated on a daily basis. Mr. Greg Nersessian. He's not a local guy. I actually worked in radio with Greg. I'm looking up his Instagram right now because I want to tell you what he's got going on. It's pretty phenomenal, actually. But Greg and I worked in radio together back in a long time ago in Los Angeles for the Howard Stern station. We actually drove the vans, the promotions vans together. We would go out to live events and give stickers out, and really we just used that job as something to go out and pick up on girls because we thought we were cool working for a radio station and the Howard Stern station, right? And so we were like, hey, give us your phone number and I'll give you a sticker, stuff like that. That's what you did in the late 90s. You handed out stickers and got phone numbers for. Now it's like you trade snaps or something. But so Mr. Greg Nersessian, he okay, so here you can see this is him. Yeah, I don't know if you could tell. He's on day 1550 in a row of a run streak. 1550. See, he's ran 1,550 days in a row divided by 365. That's 4.24 years in a row. He has had a daily run streak going. Greg is a machine. He runs as little as 1 mile a day, and I think as much as 26. He's done a marathon. Regardless, he's a beast. And so Greg Nersessian, he actually lives out in Maryland. And so he does top secret stuff for our government or a contractor for the government or something. But he makes it a habit, a point every single day to run and not break his streak. 4.25 years he's been running. And so I'm on day 2 of a 75 hard challenge. That's the name of this challenge, 75 hard. And so I need a little extra motivator from Greg, but I'll just kind of give you a rundown of what my challenge looks like. It's daily rules, 2 45-minute workouts. Yesterday completed it, check. And I actually I've worked out already today too. So I went to the 4 a.m. club again, but one of the workouts must be in outdoors. Okay, we got that. Follow a diet. Yes, I've actually cut out all gluten, all sugar, all dairy, all alcohol, and some would say all fun, but I beg to differ because in 75 days, I'm going to be looking like Mark Wahlberg. Maybe not. But so, okay, so no cheat meals, no alcohol, done. Drink a gallon of water. Okay. We are not sponsored by Crystal Geyser. This is actually not Crystal Geyser in this jug. It's different water, but I used the same jug as yesterday. And I know the people that have issues with reusing those plastic bottles are going to have issues with that, but I did it because it was cheap and easy. And then take a progress pic and then read 10 pages. And so the book I'm actually opened up and started to read is, all right, I got it. Outlaw. It's the story of Waylon, Willie, and Chris Christopherson, the Renegades of Nashville. And so, true stories of these guys and their years in Nashville. And they actually, Willie specifically, got tired of Nashville because he didn't like how it was just geared towards songwriters and pop country and things like that. And so he headed on out west to Austin and started kind of like that outlaw country Austin music scene. So really excited to just keep cracking into that book. But I'll review it and let you know how it goes. So a couple other things I'm working on right now is I've noticed they're not a good place, at least that I can find, for an events calendar for all things happening in our community. So I want to put together just kind of a weekly list of things that are going on to just get out to everybody. And I don't know what format that's going to be on, if it's going to be on a separate blog or if it's just going to be a Google Calendar that I share with everybody. I don't know. But if you've got any ideas of how I can put together some type of shareable calendar for everybody to see what's going on, because in prepping for the show and looking for events to share with you guys, I've noticed that that's one of the things that it seems like I don't have a good place to go to get information of everything that's going on. So excuse me, I just got out of the shower and I'm going to put a hat on here in a minute. Another thing I'm going to start doing is putting together kind of a weekly Spotify iTunes playlist for you guys, kind of curating some music stuff that I'm into, because I'm such a big music guy. And so yeah, I don't know, maybe you're into it, maybe you're not into it, but stuff that I like listening to, and I'll just make it available for you guys to listen if you want. Another thing is a Friday type newsletter deal that I'm thinking about doing, where I share different things that I'm like doing, like the 75 hard thing, and I'm talking about my health and fitness, and I'm talking about different things that I'm buying at the grocery store and what I'm eating, and all the hacks, right? The life hacks, like, hey, here's a cool app I found, or hey, I really love this girl on Instagram that I follow. You guys should follow her too. So just tidbits like that. And then that's it. Just continuing down the path of creating information and content and stuff that's enjoyable for you guys, and hopefully you are finding some joy in it. I know I'm finding immense joy in the show, and the feedback that I'm getting is phenomenal and fun, and it seems like you guys all like it, and I appreciate that. So I'm Mike Brady. If this is the first time that you're tuning in, this is the Morning Buzz. We do this show Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. And I say we, it's literally just me in a room. I do this show with guests, with you guys, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific. And we're on news, information, positivity, and community, right? And so all things good about the North County of the Central Coast. So it's been a fun. This is our 4th week doing this. Next week is spring break. So I'm kind of, I want to give the administration, the people that check in with us daily, they're clocking out next week to just really unplug for a minute. And I feel like they need to do that because they've had a long 12 and a half, 13 months of really trying to figure out this thing for our kids. And so I know a lot of them are like Mr. Aston is like unplugging and getting out of I don't know if he's getting out of town literally, but it's just a figure of speech. So I'm not going to have them in next week, all the regular administrative and staff and faculty. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do in lieu of that. I've got to travel down to Los Angeles next Monday. So I'll be doing the show actually Tuesday from LA, and so that'll be a different backdrop, different setting, but I will still be delivering the news and information and all the things that you guys want to hear about. So at this time, speaking of news and information, we're going to invite in Mr. Anthony Reed from Paso Robles Incidents and Action. And in case you don't know, Mr. Anthony Reed runs a Facebook page. And yeah, I see the Bruins. He runs a Facebook page called Paso Robles Incidents and Action. And he has over 6,000 followers that rely on him as a community service to give them information about what's going on. And so Anthony is a huge basketball guy. He played Paso. He grew up in Paso. He the other day was talking about how he was rooting for USC to get to the Final Four, and it doesn't look like SC's making it to the Final Four. What happened there?
No, they got beat by the now 30-0 Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not wanting to talk about that, but anyway.
But UCLA, the other Los Angeles local team, pulled it off last night in an upset. I mean,
yep.
Michigan was they were the number 1 seed, and UCLA was the 11 seed. And I caught the tail end of the game just at probably the last 15 seconds. I just happened to glance over at the TV at Jack's because we were eating dinner out there. And saw it was 51-49, and then Michigan had the ball twice with 10 seconds left to try to tie or win the game, and they missed both shots, and UCLA was victorious. So congratulations to our California team. That's the only California team representing in the Final Four, right?
Yeah, as of right now, yeah.
So, well, cool. Bruins, a lot of Templeton alumni are down at UCLA. So I know that there's a lot of Templeton families that were rooting for UCLA last night. Sorry, I digress. What's happening out there?
So just real quick, just moving on to Saturday, and then I'll move on to the news. So on Saturday, Baylor is playing Houston, and then UCLA is playing Gonzaga. So for the UCLA Bruin fans out there, it's going to be one hell of a game on Saturday. So so let's hope that UCLA can pull out the upset, and that will be the upset of the year, I think, in my opinion, if they can do it. So we're rooting for UCLA Bruins over here in my apartment. So. Yeah.
So we have, let's see, a couple Bruins, the Labens family, and the Alsups have Bruins. The Lardners had a guy from Gonzaga. We have a few Templeton alumni out at Baylor. Julia Arniak, and who else is out there? I can't think of it right now, but so cool to see all of these great schools represented in the Final Four, and all these Templeton families that have ties to these awesome schools. So, and I'm not a basketball March Madness guy at all, but it is fun when we get down into the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, and then the Final Four.
Yeah, so I would like to see UCLA obviously beat Gonzaga, and I would like to see UCLA and Baylor battle it out for the championship. That'll be a good game to watch. So let's hope that happens.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be kind of cool. All right, we've got about a minute left, and then we got to welcome in Shauna Soltero, who is like the world's busiest soccer mom. We have all these things going on that she's got to get done today, and so we tried to connect last week. It didn't happen, and then technical problems and whatnot. So we have like a limited amount of time from 7:20 to 7:30 to get her in, talk about the virtual Easter egg hunt, and then also maybe get a little plug for soccer. So what's going on? Any special stuff happening out there? Any incidents?
I'll just be real quick. There was a small vegetation fire last night in Paso Robles in the neighborhood behind Walmart. I'm sure many of you out there know where Larry Moore Park is. They're off of Riverbank Lane in Paso.
Sure.
It happened at about 8:30, or probably just a little bit after 8:30 last night. Fire officials got a quick handle on it. They contained it to a quarter acre. There was a person seen in the area, fleeing in the area as first responders were responding. They didn't catch up with that person, whoever that was, but it is under investigation, and no injuries were reported. Just they're just investigating it, and speaking of fire, the burn piles are going to be happening again today between April 9th, and that will just be between like Morro Bay and Hearst Castle and down towards San Luis area.
So South County, and over on the one we have controlled burns by Cal Fire that are happening through April 9th, you said, or 7th, something like that.
Yeah, between today and April 9th. Yeah.
Okay, over 100 of them. So don't be alarmed if you see the smoke in certain spots along the one and then down into the South County. All right, Anthony, we'll check back with us here at 7:55, and we will go from there.
All right, right on.
All right, thanks. See ya. All right, that's Anthony Reed, Paso Robles Incidents in Action, or North County Incidents in Action. He's got a Facebook page with over 6,000 followers that rely on him to just bring the latest incidents and information to the North County and all over. So, hey, at this time, speaking of running a Facebook page that's super popular, I've got Shauna Soltero here. Hi, how are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you great. Yes. I've got your name underneath with the caption "Virtual Easter Egg Hunt," and then a link to that. I'm going to drop that link in the chat too. So, what is this? What is the virtual? I'm like dad that doesn't pay attention to that stuff. So tell me, how did you start it? How did it start? What is it? What's the goal? But it's got like 9,000 people that are part of this movement on Facebook.
Yes. So we started this last year, right at the onset of the pandemic. And it was just a way that I had created to bring joy to our community and just spread the love of Jesus during these crazy times, and just to get some smiles on the kids. I mean, all their Easter egg hunts were being canceled. I mean, it was really sad. So I thought, this is a way everybody can work together. It was really simple. It didn't cost anything. Basically, you have someone create an egg out of whatever materials they have on hand at home. But you've seen the creativity is amazing. People have used old wood pallets. They've used tapestry. They've painted on their windows and their mailboxes. I mean, really creative eggs. So basically, people display an egg, and then they put it out there real well for everybody to see it.
Okay.
Then they're going to fill out a Google form, and then we add them to a virtual map. So it's a lot of fun to watch all the eggs pop up on this virtual map, and then people can go around closer to Easter and actually start hunting the eggs, and it gives them something to do as a family. We've also found a lot of people doing it. Yeah.
Ben Swan says Shauna is excellent.
I love it.
Yes, egg jokes. Okay, so this is a map of kind of where eggs are spread out all across the country. This was started by you, and it's spread across the country?
Yes, it started last year, and it kept growing like wildfire. We had, I think, over 9,000 people join it in a matter of weeks. In the last week, we've had 2,000 people join this year alone.
Wow.
And I know, it's just, right now we're in 17 states and 4 countries. So it's just blowing up again. Everyone's really getting into it.
That's so cool. So you basically, as a person that's hunting the eggs, you find the eggs and then you post on your map where you found it, or?
Yeah, so you can kind of do it however you want. It's for fun and for everybody to see. So as people go out, I saw someone took a walk last night. She took pictures of all the eggs and posted them on the Facebook page. So everyone.
Wow. All right, so I'm pulling up your Google form on the screen here. So,
there it is.
All right. So name is not put on map. Excuse me.
Mhm.
All right. So if I want to put an egg out at my house,
Yes.
I basically decorate the egg, and then I get this Google form, fill this form out, turn it back into you, and
Yes.
then I post a picture, or other people post pictures when they find it.
I have people posting their own picture just so we know their egg is up, egg
Uh-huh.
up in Paso Robles or egg up in Morro Bay. And then also as people go by and they find the eggs, they'll post pictures as well. So we really get to see a variety. Right now there's already hundreds of eggs and last year there were thousands. So I mean, they'll start popping up everywhere and we've got 3 days. So you guys can still make an egg. There is still time.
Awesome. Now, is this anything that's financial? Is it for charity, or are you or is it just to spread cheer?
Initially, it started just to spread cheer. And then last year, we also got the local businesses involved and we promoted a lot of people, buying gift cards from local businesses and that sort of thing. And we gave away prizes last year, which turned into a huge, I don't even recall how many prizes were given away because so many people donated and so many people got gift cards from local businesses.
Yeah.
We're not doing the prizes this year. We decided to do it just for fun. And while still supporting the local businesses, you'll see a lot of the eggs downtown. So we'll get people downtown looking for eggs. And yeah, and one gal in the group, even she and her fiance, I believe, made over 250 eggs on donation just for people that couldn't make them or didn't have the access to eggs. And so they did that this year as well. And I believe donated those funds to charity as well.
That's so cool. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on something just kind of unique and that brings community together. That's an awesome thing that you did. How did you get the idea?
Thank you. Really, it popped into my head last Easter when I was trying to think of something families could do together. At that time, churches were closed even. I mean, there was nothing going on and we had a lot of little kids, sad little kids.
Yeah.
And that's really, I thought something simple that everyone can do. And we even found nursing homes getting involved and kids bringing eggs to grandparents and neighbors and vets. And that part just melts my heart. That's my favorite part, to see how our community just came together.
That's so cool. That's just an awesome thing. Well,
Thank you.
so are you prepared to do this for like the rest of your life, or are you gonna pass the torch at some point?
I love doing it. It becomes a full-time job for about 2 weeks. And my family knows that I'm going to be updating maps and making eggs and just doing all kinds of stuff. But I love it. This year I put out a poll because I wasn't sure if everyone would want to do it again, being that some churches are open and there are a few egg hunts on the down low probably. But I put out a poll to get about 1,000 people say, yes, we're in. So I went with it. So yes, if it becomes an annual thing in conjunction with egg hunts and such, I would love that.
And you put out your poll on the Facebook group?
Yes.
And okay, wow. And you had 1,000 people respond.
I think just under 1,000 people say yes.
Unreal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So cool. And are you getting, I mean, I know the Morning Buzz is international press coverage, but
Yes.
are you getting other press coverage of this?
First of all, I appreciate the Morning Buzz and I love it. So thank you. It's all community and it's what we do. That's what we're about. So I'm loving it and
Awesome.
But so far I did an interview with KPRL yesterday. So that was fun. And then today KSBY has called. So we'll see where that goes. And and then last year we did a national news article. So it is getting a lot of coverage, and I think everyone wants to be a part of it and be a part of.
Sure. Now, this is the marketer in me asking the question: are you doing like behind the scenes vlogging and documenting this whole process just because, or not?
That is a great idea, and apparently I need a marketer. Because
No, well, I'm just thinking
not really.
this is a great like feel good story that I mean the rest of the world needs to know about, right? Like here's this little town in the middle of nowhere in California where a real life soccer mom came up. I just keep calling you that because you have a kid that plays soccer.
I do.
So I'm sorry.
It's
But
okay.
yeah, I just think that this story, if it's told, from your standpoint of you doing this, it's pretty powerful, right? I mean, it's literally the story of one person who had limited to no resources to do anything except spread cheer with this idea, and it's kind of blossomed into this whole big thing. That's amazing. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
you should be very proud of that. That's awesome. So
I appreciate that.
um okay, so 3 days left, get the eggs out.
Yes.
People still have time. Okay.
Yep.
All right. What is there anything? I posted the link to this page in the chat, and it's a group that you have to request to join.
It is a public group.
Okay.
Request to join. I think I approved 500 people just today. I mean, I can
Mhm.
catch it and I do it really quickly, but yeah. And then we're up to 9,300 people as of today. So it's continuing to go up and up, but basically
How do you
that Facebook page.
so how do you approve 500 people in one day? You're literally just on your phone, just hitting the thumb?
I am on my phone a lot.
Wow.
My family is very supportive. My husband, Tony, my boys, Gabriel and Cameron, just a little shout out. They're very supportive and they've helped me with all of this. So I appreciate
That's
it.
great. How fun. What a fun family project.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So let's talk about your boy. We've got an injury.
Yes. And it's actually Cameron. It's my younger son.
Okay.
He also was playing soccer, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And it was just one of those 50-50 balls. And his ankle just kind of bent back and really stretched. And so we just got the x-ray. Unfortunately, it is a fracture. So we're heading to the podiatrist today to see what that's going to entail. So just praying that he'll be okay and able to, hunt Easter eggs and go camping and do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we wish Cameron the best, and we hope that he is on the mend quickly. Kids are super resilient.
Yes,
It's
they
but
are.
they want to push the envelope, so we just make sure that he's staying off of it, right?
Yep. Thank
All
you.
right. So what else is going on with soccer?
Oh gosh. Well, right now with spring break, the high school doesn't have a game until the 8th, so we're anxiously awaiting the next game. The high school boys have won the varsity team their last 2 games, which they were exciting games. I mean, they're
Mhm.
intense games, and the boys are playing really strong and really hard out there.
Awesome. That's so cool. And so the 8th is the next game.
I believe it is the 8th. Yes,
Okay. And then the home games are going to be live streamed. So
they are.
yeah, you could watch the live stream, and I posted the link. I'll do it again, but that's cool. And Mr. Mac does a really good job of letting us know daily what games are happening and when we're gonna have soccer to root for. And at some point, we'll get the coach on. I would imagine. So,
Yeah,
all right. Well, you've stayed 3 minutes past your schedule allows you, and I know you're a busy girl. So,
that's
uh,
all right.
hey, Shauna, I just want to thank you for the support and your persistence in trying to make this work. I know that it didn't work last week, so thanks so much for making the time to get on with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for all you do with the Morning Buzz. We love it.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Have a
All
good
right,
one.
see ya. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, that's Shauna Soltero. She is the brains in the creator behind the virtual Easter egg hunt. And so, Mr. Mac, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have your virtual Easter egg done?
I don't, but I'll tell you, I'm kind of a walker, and I like going out walking, and I have seen them in my neighborhood. So now I know where they came from.
Right, there you go. Yeah, I've seen them all around as well. We haven't done it at our house either. Mainly because I haven't even really seen my children in the last week. It's just like everybody's just going 8 million different directions. But that's such a cool thing that she's done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't realize that it had gone nationwide and other people are jumping on. I just thought it was a local thing here. So that's
one of those. That's one of those things that, like, if I had, let's say, I had a T-shirt company or something, I would totally do something like that as a viral marketing campaign and have these Easter eggs with my t-shirt brand on. I don't know. So
Right.
I'm always thinking of different ways to kind of spread things virally. And that virtual Easter egg hunt is just amazing.
Such a great story. Yeah.
Oh,
And you always get these
unbelievable.
kind of stories on the Morning Buzz.
Yeah, that's what we do. In fact, I was, this is how old I am. I was going to say, Matt Lauer and Katie calling me, but they're not even on Good Morning, or they're
Yeah.
not on the Today Show anymore.
Yeah. But
There.
people like you, me, Ben Swan, we remember those. We remember those people.
Right, exactly.
Hey, you want to
Oh,
hear
yeah.
a feel good story?
I do.
Here's another feel good story. Templeton Market, or no, I'm sorry, Templeton Donuts and Deli. Those
Yes.
guys are so cool down there. They wanted to bless our students, and yesterday and last week we passed out little certificates to all of our students. And as long as they can not lose this little piece of paper and take it in either yesterday, today, or tomorrow to Templeton Donuts and Deli, they get a free donut or a free cookie.
No kidding.
That is just cool. That is cool seeing local people stepping up and
Yeah.
doing something just to bless other people for nothing out of their. We said, hey, what kind of rate can we get? You know, what kind of deal? They go, oh, no. We want to take care of that for the kids. So just a cool deal.
They're a great Templeton family.
Absolutely.
They you know, like a number of different stores downtown, just really treat every single kid, you know, how local companies should treat them, right? They hold them accountable, but they're kind to them.
Right.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Templeton Donuts is where we go. They have amazing quiche. I don't know if you've had their quiche. It's amazing. I'm on their Facebook page right now. They have cookies. They have desserts. Yeah, but we go and get their quiches, and we buy the whole quiches sometimes.
And you're just breaking that stereotype that real men don't eat quiche. And so you're just kind of, by saying that, you're allowing other people to go and enjoy it.
Exactly. I actually, it's funny. I don't eat the dough though on the quiche. I just eat the top.
Okay.
I'm not a big pie crust guy. I've never been a fan of it unless it's like mud pie.
Okay.
Right. The mud pie that and I'm not a sweets guy either, but I do like me some mud pie crust, and some cheesecake crust, just not quiche crust.
Okay.
But the insides of the quiche, amazing. So yeah. Well, that's really cool. And so are there things going on? Are the kids like now like going down to Staples and doing mass runoff copies of these things to just kind of cheat the system?
All that. No student would ever think of that, but we thought of that. So we got it. We got it all.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How cool. And so how are the kids getting these? You're emailing them out?
We already delivered them to the classes.
Oh, so physically handing them to the classes.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. Good stuff.
Hey, speaking of cool, Mike, a little sports update for you. Can I throw that your way?
Let's hear it. What do we got?
Well, you know, we just got to give a shout out to our tennis team who finished talk about things. This has just been a strange year of things happening, but they played PV last night, supposed to be their second to last match, but PV let them know that they would not be playing again this Thursday. So with that, the tennis team, girls tennis, they ran the table. Perfect season, 12-0. Not a blemish on the season. So and we're losing 4 amazing seniors who you had some of them on yesterday.
Yep.
We're losing them, which is, they had quite a legacy here over the years, some of them playing since freshmen. But they handed it off to a great group of kids that are, Ashlyn Jansen, that is a junior this year, and you got some strong freshmen. You got Lacaro. You got some people that are waiting in the wings to step in that are already established themselves, but also to just carry it on and see how long they can keep this unbeaten streak going.
I'm looking at the scores. Madeline 6'3", 6'4", Sophia 6'0", 6'0". Like, yeah, they just dominated.
Yeah. Yep.
That's so cool. I did hear it was a scheduling conflict, which is why PV canceled their next match. But
Okay.
you know, I would, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it was a scheduling conflict. Maybe it was just the fear of the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, the scheduling conflict could have been that they scheduled to play Templeton. I mean, that could have been,
Right, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, we've got a conflict. We don't want to play a team we're going to get crushed by.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
nothing against PV. You know, we just got a really strong team this year, so we're excited about our team, and well done, girls.
Congratulations.
to-
Hey, so question, I should have asked this of the coach.
Yeah.
Do the high school tennis or any other, well, I know that the basketball does it, but are there any type of summer camps or clinics that they put on for younger age children in the community?
I don't know. I think they have done that in the past, but I'm not sure. And I think with all the restrictions and stuff that are going on now, I don't know if that would even be possible.
Yeah, I just feel like tennis is a great life sport that
Absolutely.
more people should be playing it. But
yeah. And then swim. Swim had a great outing last night or yesterday afternoon out at Atascadero, and I listed on our page a whole bunch of results, but our guys won 71-67, and
Okay.
our girls lost a close one, 81-75. Now, Mike, I know you probably know this, but like some sports, track and even cross country in a sense, the more players you have, the better chance there is you're going to score more points. You're
Okay.
going to get more people in the heats, so you might be accumulating more points. Templeton doesn't have the biggest team. We don't have the biggest school. We don't have the biggest swim team. Tascadero had a lot of swimmers out there. So the fact that we could keep it so close and win the guys just shows the quality of swimmers and us getting the most out of our people in the lanes.
So how does that work? The more players you have, the more opportunities to score?
Only, for example, you get points for first, second, third place, okay? Let's say that we only have one swimmer in the race.
Oh,
We could go in and get points for first place, but they're getting second, third,
Yep.
So,
Okay, that makes sense.
that sort of thing. Trying to get as many swimmers out there as you can, swimming in particular events that they're really gifted at, and that sort of thing. So great attitude. Like all of our teams, loved seeing our swimmers at the end of each lane cheering on their swimmers as they're coming to the end or halfway and flipping around and just there cheering them on. It's just awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, that is, and keep in mind too, our program does not have a home swim base.
Yep.
Where the players, the players, you call them players? What do you call them? Athletes.
Athletes.
Swimmers, yeah, where they can just leave the class or get out of their car in the school parking lot and go to the swim facility. That doesn't happen. It requires them to go offsite to another location that is not their home turf to practice, and so it's kind of an added step. Whereas most of these high school programs have facilities that they call home, and it's part of their campus more often than not. And so, yeah, we've done a lot, it seems like, with limited resources. So
yeah, and a lot of our relay teams all took first place. Not all of them, but a lot of them took first place, which just shows the teamwork and all those sorts of things. And we would love to get a pool. And maybe there's a listener out there, nationally or internationally, that might want to, be a huge donor and put in a pool on our campus. That would be awesome.
And I don't want to be controversial and cause a big riff, but by bringing this up, but I will. So, are we getting a library? What's the deal with the library? Is that another topic for another time?
Well, that there is that phrase, slow and steady wins the race. There have been people that have been working for a long time, putting in lots of hours of service and setting up fundraisers and that sort of thing for a library, a community library that would be put in right next to the dirt parking lot. If you've been on our campus,
Sure.
And that is set aside for it. I know that plans were drawn up a number of years ago for the library, but I think that could be cool to get somebody on, maybe Janice Harrington from the middle school librarian. I know that she in the past has been really involved in helping to bring the library to the community.
I could see in that parking lot like a big swim library complex.
That'd be great. You could
Right?
read until it's your turn to swim. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Okay, so real quick, we'll talk volleyball.
Yeah.
And we can bring this up another time as well, but there's some issues with the JV live stream feed where nobody could connect to it last night. No, I know that's not your department. That's not necessarily really anybody's department other than just trying to get it put together. So that's just kind of the feedback that I was getting. That's the feedback that I have from yesterday, is that we could not watch the JV feed online. And so kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Especially when people have paid a subscription fee. And so I would venture to say, I'll bet Joe Farley and the administration, they're working hard today and tomorrow to get out all those bugs, because we're just kicking off these seasons inside the gym. And so I'll bet it's a temporary issue that's going to be remedied pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I think I saw Joe Farley a few minutes ago, and he looked pretty tired. I'm betting he was up all night trying to get that working.
Yeah.
But I will be just reaching out to him about that because that is important. That is a great way for our parents and families. And they missed a great match, that JV match.
Well, and now, the JV match, but when the cameras did come on the varsity, that feed was awesome. It watched the ball go back and forth. It zoomed in, and it showed the score. Like the varsity feed was spectacular. I actually think it was just kind of some kind of recording timer thing that wasn't set up accurately, but because the varsity feed came on right away. So yeah, kind of a bummer. So yeah, JV lost
22-25, 15-25. Sounds like they had a close. I bet that was a nail biter.
Yeah, it was. They've got a good team. They've got a good team, and they haven't played together that much, right? And so that's what we have going against us. Well, a lot of the schools have that also, but yeah, they just haven't played enough together. And I have a feeling that both JV and varsity will continue to improve. Paso's got a lot of great returning players that are young, that are going to be in their system for the next few years. And so, and we've got some great sophomores and juniors on varsity too. So we're, I don't think we're going to be too bad of a shape here in the future.
So Mike, you were at the game, or you were watching live stream?
I was watching live stream right here.
Okay. So give me player of the game. What do you got?
Well, I mean, it's Abby Brady every time. I'm just kidding.
Birthday girl did it on her birthday.
No. Player of the game. I know that. Gosh, I wouldn't be able to pick one. I know that we have a lot of players that played very well last night. Caden Wolf played awesome. Lauren played awesome. Riley played awesome. McKenna all of them played super great last night. It's just they haven't played enough together, right? And we're just getting into it. So, hey, we're running late. I want to learn about history.
Yeah. You got to get to Mr. Lewis. Hey,
hold on. Let me.
You have you got some guests tomorrow, some athletes tomorrow, yeah?
What do we have tomorrow? We have Lauren and Lindsay English. They're going to do double duty with volleyball and soccer.
Awesome.
And who else do I have on?
I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm excited about hearing them.
I'm excited too. It'll be fun to get the girls on. They're intense.
Yeah.
That's one word to describe them.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, Mike.
Awesome. Mr. Mack, have a great day.
All right, I'll be listening to Eric. Guy always has a great story.
Thanks. See ya. Bye. Mr. Lewis, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. You're in a different setup today.
Yeah, believe it or not, 13 days after I was Johnson & Johnson vaccinated with all the other teachers on the 10th, my son came down with COVID who lives with me.
Oh,
And if it would have been one more day, I wouldn't have had to quarantine. But because it was 13 days, so I needed 24 hours. And so I have to quarantine. So today we obviously don't have kids, so I'm able to teach at home, but I actually have a sub this week and I'm teaching from home, which is very frustrating.
wow.
So I guess better safe than sorry. I mean, the chances of me getting it are probably pretty slim, being that I was vaccinated 13 days before. So
you had the Johnson & Johnson?
Yeah, the district, it was awesome. And our district is one of the few that did that. I don't know if anyone else did it. On the 10th, they basically made it available to every faculty and staff member that wanted to be vaccinated on the 10th of March.
And that's the one and done vaccination?
That's the one and done.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Any side effects?
You know what? It was really interesting. I would say I felt like a little sick, but not bad at all. Not like I wouldn't have done anything. I would say about 25% of the teachers I talked to for about 24 hours were really sick, like fever, chills, like a really, really bad flu. I won't use names, but I know at least 4 or 5 people that got that sick.
And then it just ends, right?
And then it was end and you were fine. And it was weird because the next day I didn't feel great, but the third day after I felt like exhilarated. It was really feeling awesome. It was, I don't know if it's because I felt the day before or just whatever. So
that's really interesting. Huh. Well, that's cool that you were able to get that and that the district did that. But what a bummer, 13 days in and you got to quarantine.
Yeah, no, I mean, luckily it's backing up to spring break. So I'd only have to do this for a week and I'm really halfway done because today would have been distance learning anyway. And so, so I'll do on Thursday, Friday, and then I'll be back on the Monday, the 12th.
Perfect.
With the kids. And who knows? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know I'm supposed to be talking about history, but we're working really hard. I can't guarantee anything that we might be combining the cohorts. And I don't know if you knew that, but we are working hard about that, and so we're trying. I mean, the most of the faculty is behind it and administration is working with MOT. And I mean, I would say if I had to gamble right now, it's more than 50-50 that we'll be able to combine the cohorts. But I don't want to say 100% because if it fails, it does. But we are trying really hard at the high school. So,
well, yeah, and I know I listened to the meeting last week, and you brought up an interesting point. And again, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the point that you brought up, and I actually wrote down, I wrote down one of the things you said and quoted it. And of course, now I can't find it because I think it was on another piece of paper. But you basically said by not allowing the kids into games, we lose the ability to control them. And
yeah.
I thought that was interesting. And then I started thinking about, well, it's kind of the same thing. By not allowing them to go to school in person, we're losing the ability to kind of control their environment, right? And
in some respects, definitely.
Yeah.
And, football was an interesting thing that you probably don't see with other outdoor sports because they don't have the fans. But with football, we put 1,200 people in that stadium usually, or whatever it is. And we had, 20 or 30 kids on the fence. And of course they weren't masked. They were all right next to each other and they were having a good time and hopefully everybody was okay. But it was not ideal. So
yeah, I'm hopeful. I think we're gonna, hold out some hope and I trust that the administration, the leadership, the faculty, everybody's working with the goal of doing what's best for the kids. And sometimes that's painful and tough to navigate through. Right.
And in very painful and tough times. I've been in education for 26 years, 25 at Templeton. And this is by far and away the hardest academic time. We've had some tragedies. That's harder in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the academic and logistical sense, this has been the hardest ever.
Yeah. Well, that's too bad. Well, it's a season and we'll get through it for sure.
I agree. So I can quickly do something. I had I always go down a rat hole when I start trying to figure out what I'm going to do on history. So, yeah, I had two things that were, and I'm running short on time. So I guess I'll just do the short one so you can move on and then I can do something next week.
Okay.
So tomorrow is April Fool's Day. And so I kind of want to say, where does that come from? And it was just kind of interesting that there's a lot of reasons out, like legends. The generally consensus is that in the 1500s, we switched from the Julian calendar, which was established by Julius Caesar, at 80 BC or something. And It was off 11 minutes a day. So every year we kept getting further off. So then they switched to the Gregorian calendar, which was proposed by a Catholic Pope. And what April Fool's Day was, because under the Julian calendar, New Year's was around April 1st. And so all of the people who, not all the people, but a lot of the people who didn't switch to the new calendar and were still celebrating New Year's in April were the April Fools. And then it ended up, people playing jokes in different places. Scotland does this thing called hunting a gawk, which is they send people on these. It kind of reminds, I think we use the term snipe hunting, where you send people out on an errand that they can never accomplish. They also play derriere jokes in Great Britain, where the original kick me sign on someone's bum.
Right.
And then there are some funny things that happen on a big level in the 50s. The BBC put out a thing that Switzerland's spaghetti crop had failed. The NPR did one where they said that the Liberty Bell had been bought by Taco Bell. This was in the early 90s, and they were going to rename it the Taco Liberty Bell. And then there was also one where I think it was also Public Radio did that in the 90s, and they had a Nixon lookalike. And I don't remember this, but I guess he looked exactly like Nixon, and they said he was rerunning for president.
Geez.
And people thought it was real. No, the last one, and I'll let you go because the time is sometimes also in the 90s, Burger King said that they had a left-handed Whopper, and all these people would go into Burger King and were asking for the left-handed Whopper. So at In-N-Out Burger here in Atascadero, I worked there 1994 and 95, my junior and senior year. And I was left-handed, or I still am left-handed, but the manager says to me, in In-N-Out, we had upstairs on top of the roof were storage units. And so he would say, one time he says, "Hey, can you go up there? I want to teach you how to flip burgers. You need to go up and get the left-handed spatula." And so I came back with 8 spatulas, and I'm like, they all look the same. Which one's the left-handed? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So then I realized it was a joke, but yeah. Well, Mr. Lewis, thanks so much for joining us with that April Fool's information. And yeah, I appreciate your work behind the scenes. I know you guys are all working hard. So
yeah, we're keeping our fingers crossed. And like I said, I don't want to promise anything. If I was a betting man, I'd probably say 55 to 60% will be able to combine the cohort. So it's not a lot, but I know everybody's working hard, but some glitch could stop it. But anyway, I will take care, Mike. I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Eric. See ya.
Bye.
All right, Eric Lewis giving us our weekly history lesson. He is awesome, and we appreciate all the hard work that he does. Real quick check-in before we get with Coach Crow to do football. Coach Crow texted me and said he can't get on the live feed, and so I've got to call him again. We'll get him on the phone. Try that. Anthony, Paso incidents and actions. What's going on?
CHP is not reporting anything, which is a good thing at this hour. Regarding the vegetation fire, Scott Brennan did post it, and I put a link to it in the chat. So
Pass Robles Daily News has the link that is in the chat that Anthony posted. I have it pulled up right here.
Yep. So that's it. So you can go ahead and read that article. Mike, I know you got to go to somebody else. So I don't have anything else to report. So I'll see you in the next hour.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate it.
Right on.
Thanks, Anthony. See ya. All right, that's Anthony Reed, Paso Robles Incidents and Actions, just keeping us abreast of everything that's going on in and about the North County, any traffic issues, any accidents, any police incidents that need to be reported. And so luckily the last few days has been kind of a slow time for any incidents, which is always good news for us. All right, at this time, I'm going to try to give Coach Crow a call. Let's see here. Don Crow. See if I can get him. Hey, Coach, how are you? I'm good, good. I got you on speakerphone and you're live. So, man, we got to get that figured out. I got to spend some time over there helping you. I don't know what the issue is.
I don't either. I've tried to let our tech department know because we have other people in our district can get on, but I can't seem to get on. So
yeah,
we'll figure it out.
All right. Well, we'll just have to do with the phone interview today again. But so okay, Morro Bay, were you expecting what you saw on Friday?
As far as how the game played out, yeah, I thought we were not surprised by much that they did. I thought our kids played really hard. It was the first shutout in the 15 years of that rivalry, so that was good for our defense. And our kids played really hard and smart. That was good for us.
That's great. And again, I mean, escaping fairly injury free. You were able to get most players into the game. That great opportunity for a lot of the younger kids to get in there. Everybody, I mean, we just had some big plays by kind of all over the board, right? We got a lot of people involved.
Right, and we were able to play everybody that was actually eligible for the game play.
That's so cool.
And then we even got some of the freshmen, sophomores that we brought up from the JVs to help with us. And then Isaiah Pasquale and Kel Lott, now 2 juniors, had long runs in plays. So that was good. That was good to get everybody involved, and I think that it helps morale and it helps them see that there is a light at the tunnel to play, and that was really good.
Yeah, I like seeing Parker, after going down in week 1, getting back up and then coming away with that interception early in the game. That was cool.
Yeah. When he first went down, we were worried it was a lot worse than it was, but it wound up not being that serious. Just, more precautionary of holding him out of the rest of the Wasco game. And he was ready to go and made a nice play. Josh Hammers made a great hit on that play, and the ball popped up, and Parker's awareness got the ball headed the other way.
Yeah, that's great. It was so much fun to watch as a spectator too. So now coming off of a high like that, how do you get the kids ready for this week? I mean, that's a tough thing to bounce from one of those victories like that and then get them mentally prepared.
Well, hopefully all we have to say is Aurora Grande and they're ready to go.
Sure.
Templeton's never beaten Aurora Grande in football, and like we told the kids this morning, we've talked about it. Atascadero's had some great teams, and Paso's had some great teams, and Slo's had some great teams. But in the last 25 years, consistently, Aurora Grande has been at the top of our county. Year in and year out, the road to be the best team in the county is going to go through Aurora Grande, long term. I mean, people have had their runs. Nobody's been on a long run they have. So, we're going to – we want to compete with the best there is. We have to be able to compete with Aurora Grande in football.
And what specifically are you? I don't want to say concerned, but what are you preparing for with Arroyo Grande? What is their offense and defense like?
Their offense runs the ball. They have a really good offensive line. None of them have to play on defense, so they have 5 guys in their offensive line that are big and physical and only play on offense. We don't have that luxury because we don't have 2,000 kids in our school and 60 guys on our team. So we have to do what we have. So our kids are going to have to come with an attitude that we're going to be in better shape and play as hard as we can possibly play. And like we told them this morning too, we have to play really smart. They do a lot of things formationally on offense that we have to line up correctly too. And then on defense, they move around and slant and don't just stand in front of you. They're gonna make you do your technique right to block them.
Okay, and you know, with a program that has 60 kids, and really, I mean, that Five Cities area, those kids have all played together since they were little. So that's a really tight program down there that kind of moves up through the ranks. Do they have any standout players that you're particularly concerned about?
Yeah, their middle linebacker at number 35, Farrell, he's an excellent player. He's their leader. He's not only their leader defensively, he's their leader of their team. They have a nice junior running back named Puga, number 11, who has ran for a lot of yards. He had a 200 against the Atascadero. They have a tight end / wide receiver, number 5, named Wolf, whose dad is the offensive line coach, Apollo. He's a big, tall kid at like 6'4", 6'5", 205 on the outside. And then, of course, their offensive line, they got a transfer from the Valley, from Visalia, who's 6'4", 320. He's a really good player. So they're big and they're good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was encouraged to see week over week our kids, and I don't know if it was just because we were rotating more kids in and out, but they seem to have kind of caught their breath a little this last week and weren't as tired as week one. So that was good to see. You feel like the team's getting in better shape?
Oh yeah, no doubt. And the week one, we played a team that wants to just get in especially when they're running the ball, want to get in an old fashioned like street fight. They're just going to come at you and come at you and come at you and wear you down. And to do that in week one was kind of an eye opening experience for our kids. But yeah, I think our kids are getting in better and better shape and getting adjusted to playing after being off for so long. That was a big change. That was a big step too.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as the health of the team, the COVID tests, everybody tested last week. We didn't have anybody that was ineligible because of that, right?
Correct. We were all negative. And then this week with the number dropping back below 7, we did not have to test yesterday. We were all set up to test, but this county number came in and we did not have to test yesterday.
Well, that's great news.
It's a time consuming, very stressful, but just because of the way the results come back, they don't all come back at once sometimes. So yeah, it takes a lot of effort to get that done.
And have you heard anywhere else in the county, any other programs coming back with positives?
No, everybody played last week, so that meant that they were all good to go. And then the 2 schools from Santa Maria that had been out because they had positives the first time they tested, looks like they're back to play. Pioneer Valley is going to play Mission today. And because of the Catholic Holy Week, Mission had to play on Wednesday. And then it looks like Rigetti should be good to go against Paso on Friday.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So they're playing today, which means
yes.
Mission's they had 5 days in between their game. They played on Friday, right?
Yes, they played Friday and you come back today.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I guess when you're young, it's a little different than when you're.
It's a pretty short turnaround though, considering Pioneer Valley hasn't played, so they should be fresh. But yeah, it's kind of somewhat of a disadvantage to Mission is that they have no film on them, and Pioneer Valley would be able to, I'm sure they wouldn't film their game against the Atascadero, so
yeah, and
that should help.
I'm wondering, is Mission live streaming their games on the same network?
Yes, they do a YouTube thing. No, it's not on NFHS. They hooked up with some other private schools in LA and have a network. And if you go to them, because I watched their first game in Napomo on it because they played on a Saturday. And they live stream their games through a channel that's on YouTube. Okay,
I'll find that channel and post it on the Morning Buzz Facebook page because I'll bet that a lot of people are going to want to watch that.
Just go to. I'm sure it's on Mission Prep's website. I know it is.
Okay, cool. And then one last thing, and I'll let you go. The live stream that we have access to. I got a lot of great feedback from everybody. The one thing that they keep saying is that we can hear Coach Lane's play calling. So I don't know if that's something that we can figure out or if we even care at this point.
Well, we can't move the camera because it's a stationary attached camera. So we'd have to move our coaches to the other press box. So then you get to hear the visiting coaches.
Right.
So.
And then even more controversy. So yeah, we don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, we might, because if they can hear them, we might have to do it.
Sure. Okay. Well, other than that, Coach, you got anything for us you want to get out there?
Just, we're really proud of our kids. I mean, what they've been through to get to play, and they've been working really hard. And you should know that because your son's on the team, so you get to hear from him what's going on. But yeah, I feel like our kids have the right frame of mind, and they understand that this is an important game for not only for them but for the whole town. And it's time we're going to step up, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be a definite challenge to have to play against Rio Grande.
Yeah, I think no matter what, I think you'll have them ready, and I think they'll come out and do everything they can to come out victorious. But any given week, right? You never know what you're going to get.
Oh yeah, hey, any Friday night, anything can happen, and we're gonna get ready to go.
Exactly. Well, the good news is it's going to be in the high 70s, almost 80 degrees on Friday. So hopefully our Templeton boys are used to that, and the Ocean guys down in the 5 cities aren't. So we'll see.
Yeah, we've been colder. We get colder and hotter than them, so it'll be interesting how that all plays out.
Yeah, exactly. About a 40-degree difference between warm-ups and the end of the game.
Yeah. It'll be a big drum. Yes.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll let you go. Appreciate you spending time with us.
Anytime.
All right.
Anytime, Mike.
Good luck this week.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles. Thanks. All right, that's Coach Don Crow, just longtime veteran football coach for Templeton. Has had a couple different stints with us, and he is just such a awesome, positive force for our kids who do play football. Coach Crow has a ton of people that are just rooting for him and his boys in the program. And so, Coach, thank you again for everything that you do for our kids and your whole staff. Your staff's amazing. All of those coaches on staff with you are just absolutely, great, positive forces in our kids' lives. And so, I saw Coach Hammers at dinner last night. He knows all the kids' names in the community, of course. Dave Johnson, Sam, I mean, you name it, all these guys, Greg, everybody. Just all of them go out of the way. Coach Lane, they go out of their way to just make sure that they're doing everything they can to support these kids and give them awesome opportunities as youth athletes. And so, really exciting to see when they are winning. And yes, we are going to have a tough one this week. It's going to be one of our biggest challenges ever. You heard him say that we've never beat Arroyo Grande, and so Arroyo Grande has been a dominant force on the Central Coast in terms of football and a lot of sports, because mainly because they have such a large student body to pull from to get their athletes, right? They have over 2,000 students in their school system, and so they've always been super competitive with most things that they've done. So that's this Friday, 7 p.m. It's going to be here at home. Same rules apply in terms of sports spectatorship. Let me find it. I'll just share it with you guys in case you don't remember or haven't seen it. But it's a letter that Coach Farley put out. Let me find my images. I posted it. And I'm just going to see if I can find it again so you guys can see my screen that I share. And here it is. Okay, share the screen. All right, in case you're just joining us, we just got off the phone with Coach Crow. Coach Crow is getting the boys ready for Arroyo Grande this Friday. Here is the athletics guidelines for spectatorship. These are being live streamed on nfhsnetwork.com. me make sure I got that right. NFHS Network. Yeah, I did. Okay, so football, you have 2 home fans allowed, 2 visiting fans allowed. That's the guidance as it stands right now in the community for our school spectators. Volleyball and basketball, obviously, to be determined because as of now, there's no in-person spectators allowed inside the gymnasium. And I know that if you're watching the live feed, you do see people in the gymnasium. Just know that everybody that's in that gymnasium has signed up to be a volunteer, whether it's a scorekeeper or doing the lines or some type of videography or all of those people that are inside that gymnasium during those sporting events that you see on that live feed, they all have a specific purpose to be there. They are not just letting anybody into the gym to watch those kids. And so that, I know there was a little confusion, and the feedback that I got was like, why are there people in the gym? Well, it's because they all have specific jobs that they've signed up for to volunteer. And so there are still plenty of opportunities to volunteer, not only with sports, but with boosters and just different activities throughout the school. And myself, Mr. Mack, we've got a pretty good finger on the pulse of who needs what. And so if you are interested in figuring out how you could volunteer for anything, you could send me an email. It's morningbuzzaroundtown@gmail.com. And so we will go from there. But as it stands right now, Friday night, we are still 2 spectators for the home team and 2 for the visiting team. And the feed is an awesome thing. It's, I think 99% of the people I talked to about Friday night's feed said all great things about it. And so and I will say this, though, the volleyball feed got me a little dizzy last night because you're watching the ball go back and forth, and the camera does an awesome job of just panning left to right while the ball's going. And so, you know, it's actually really good videography, which I was very impressed by. So, yeah, those live feeds are cool. If you haven't signed up for that yet, there's a ton of games that they're going to be doing, not only at the stadium, but also in the gym. It's like $60, and a portion of that $60 goes straight back to the athletics departments. And so super cool. All right, at this time, it's 8:17. We're running 2 minutes late. I'm going to do something a little different with these guys this morning. You know them as the superintendent and assistant superintendent of Templeton Schools, but do we really know them? And so in the interest of just getting to know each other a little better in our community, I thought I'd just lighten the mood a little today, because I'm sure they have a ton of other things that aren't as light to deal with. And so let's start their morning off with just some laughter and some happiness. How are you guys?
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so it's casual day. Andy does not have a tie on today.
I missed the memo, clearly.
I know, man. You're loosening the reins on him, apparently. All right, so I kind of know your backgrounds, but I kind of don't know your backgrounds. And so what I've heard is, Mr. Asplund, you're a finance guy that begrudgingly got thrown into the mix with running a school district. And Andy, you're a coach / real estate guy / educator that's just kind of a jack of all trades that's now an administrative guy. Is that kind of along the right lines?
That's along the right lines, but there's more backstory to that, as I'm sure there is to Aaron's story.
All right, well, let's start with you. So you're born where? El Centro, Brawley area?
Yeah, I was born in Brawley, born and raised there, and went off to college for a couple of years and returned to Brawley to teach, and taught for 11 years in Brawley at the high school level, and then made the jump to the administrative side of education, and spent 5 years as vice principal and principal at Barbara Worth Junior High, again in Brawley. And then my wife decided she wanted to move to the Central Coast, and so we did just that, kind of just spur of the moment. And that's where the real estate side of it comes in, is we moved up to Arroyo Grande without jobs, and I had to do something. So I got my real estate license and sold real estate, and then figured out that my passion was not in real estate. My passion was in education that I had left behind. And so fortunately for me, Templeton Middle School was looking for a principal, and chose me to be that guy, which I'm still really, really grateful for that.
Well, you skipped over a lot, so I'm gonna probe here. Okay, Brawley, are you a farming family?
Yeah, my dad's a farmer.
Okay.
Mom was a bit of an entrepreneur, owned a flower and balloon shop, and then also worked at a grain co-op, if you will, selling grain and seed and other ag-based products. So yeah, grew up on a farm 13 miles outside of Brawley with chickens and cattle and horses and all of that.
So what kind of high schooler were you? Were you an athlete? Were you the life of the party? Were you a great student?
I was a solid student. You know, I was a basketball player, played basketball all 4 years, and ran track and field, and you know, definitely wasn't the life of the party. I actually am a bit shy when it comes to being around people that I don't know, so to speak. Obviously, getting into administration has forced me outside of that comfort zone. So I've had to lose that shy side. But yeah, that was me as a high schooler.
Okay.
Certainly not a perfect angel. Okay, I won't claim to be a perfect angel. That's for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so let's see. One sport. If you could only play one sport for the rest of your life, what sport would that be?
That's really easy for me. Basketball.
Basketball. Okay. Your top three, I guess, desert island artists that you'd be stuck listening to for the rest of your life.
Musicians?
I'm a music guy, so I always want to know what people like. Yeah.
Ooh, man. That's a tough one. Top three. I will say Pearl Jam, Tupac, and Rage Against the Machine. That kind of covers my moods, if you will. That covers me for workouts and for hanging out, and just a little bit of everything.
Well, it sounds like we're probably about the same age. You're probably a little younger than me, but that's very similar to kind of my tastes as well. It's kind of runs the gamut. You have the rock, the hip hop, and then the I guess you would call Rage more of like a almost like a those guys were so educated in that band, and their lyrics were so well, not really controversial, but more of like activist rock, right? I guess that's a good way to say it. So yeah,
I should say I didn't always agree with their stance on things, but definitely enjoyed it while I was working out. So
if I could listen to music with no words, I would be a happy camper. I'm not a lyricist guy. I love good rhythm. I love good grooves and good melodies. But yeah, the lyrics, I play in a band and I don't even memorize the lyrics to the songs that I sing because they're just in one ear out the other. But
for sure.
Right, last question, and then we'll move on to Mr. Asplund. I know you're an avid workout guy. You're really into self-improvement and trying to live your best version of your life, which probably means you probably do a lot of reading, I would imagine. What are maybe one or two books that you could recommend to people? And just so you know, the people that watch this show for the most part are people anywhere from 35 to 55 years old, and it skews heavily women, 80-20. But what are some books that you could recommend specifically to me? I'm on a 75-day hard challenge right now. And I have to read 10 pages every day. And I've tried to, I don't read fiction. I love biographies. And I've done a lot of business type reading in the past 15, 20 years, but I'm trying to get away from that. Like, what are a couple books that you could recommend?
I just read a book that Candace Parker is a WNBA player. If you don't know who that is, I was listening to a podcast and she recommended a book titled Chop Wood, Carry Water. And Joshua Medcalf is the author, but I enjoyed that book so much that I'm actually reading it to my daughters now. That's our nighttime reading. And I'd say, one that for me as a leader that really stands out in my mind is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. They're both ex-Navy SEALs. If you can, I don't know that you can ever be an ex-Navy SEAL. I think once you're a Navy SEAL, you're always a Navy SEAL.
Right.
But Extreme Ownership, I just really, it's all about taking responsibility for the things that are happening within your organization or your team, and not pointing the finger or placing blame on others, and just really enjoy that as a leader. So those would be the two books that I could. Chop Wood, Carry Water is a great, just kind of light reading. Read it in like 5 days, so easy read.
So is it a biography about Candace, or is it?
No, it's not actually related to Candace at all. She just recommended it.
Oh, got it. Okay. Joshua Medcalf, Chop Wood and Carry Water. I'm going to post the links to these books too. And then Jocko Willink, Extreme Ownership. And I've been recommended that book a few different times. My problem with Jocko is his podcast is so intense. Like, if I'm reading his words, all I'm thinking about is the way his voice sounds. It's like he's yelling at me the whole time I'm reading. So, but I'll give it a shot. I know so many people have recommended that book.
Yeah, really awesome. Good book. And I know what you mean by his podcast. I'm a big Jocko fan, but sometimes it's tough to listen to 3 hours of Jocko's intensity.
Yeah, so there's a couple different Central Coast Jocko connections. A friend of mine who's been on our show owns a company called Irish Oaks Ranch, and they have soaps that his 14-year-old son Aiden makes. Aiden, one of Aiden's first investors was Jocko Willink, and he created the soap. I think it's called Jocko Soap. And so Jocko Willink is an investor in this local Atascadero kids soap brand that's goat milk soap. So that's one. The other one is there's a former Navy SEAL that lives here in town that was on the team with Jocko for a number of years. And so and I'm Facebook friends with him, and then I follow Jocko, and they're always posting the same stuff about their teammates, in remembrance of them. So pretty cool. But I've heard that Jocko is an amazing guy. But he's super intense, right? Yeah,
well, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing those connections with me. I didn't know either of those things, so that's pretty interesting.
So if you go on to Instagram at Irish Oaks, you can see their soap line, and really cool story of what Aiden's been able to do. And then he created a kids soap because Jocko has that kids book. Warrior Kid, I think it's called.
Yep.
And so they've got a Warrior Kid soap line too, which is really neat. So
very cool.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, that's good stuff. Hey, Andy, if you're not busy at 8:55 ish, just to let you know, because I know you're an extreme athlete. One of my good buddies on the East Coast in Maryland, he's on day 1,550 of his run streak. And so he's going to check in with us at 8:55 and just kind of tell us what's continued to motivate him and all the struggles that he's had too. So I know you'll appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And actually, because of you, I started following his journey on Instagram too. So
yeah, he's hardcore. He's a trip. Just great kid. Awesome guy. Him and I were best friends in our late teens, early 20s. And, we took separate paths and he got into working for the government and doing some stuff out in DC. And so, but yeah, has just kind of maintained this crazy, extreme, athletic lifestyle. And so, really, really fun to watch his journey for sure. He's definitely a motivating factor in my life. I don't have that much discipline. I'm trying though.
That's awesome.
All right, Mr. Asplund. Sorry, we went off on a tangent there. Start day one. City, state you're from. Large family, small family. Are you a family of educators? What are you?
Yeah, great question. So born in Tulare, California, so in the heart of the Central Valley. The setting, I guess you could say, is not too different than what Andy described down in Imperial County. So, in kind of a sleepy but great little farming community. My parents were, in fact, both educators. My dad was a school superintendent, and my mom was a career teacher. So, interestingly, that was kind of the household conversations that I knew growing up, but didn't find my way back to it till later in life. And so, yeah, that was me as a kid, born and raised in the Central Valley.
And so you got into after school, you went into business and then subsequently back into education.
Yeah, my undergrad degree was a mixture of like political science and econ and business. I actually was like 50-50 thinking I wanted to maybe be an attorney. And so, I found myself at a crossroads kind of at the end of my undergrad, and then ended up kind of went and got an MBA. And so obviously chose kind of the business route.
Okay. And so in high school, I'm assuming, just based on knowing your children, I'm assuming you played basketball.
Yeah, one of the best things that I've found that Templeton represents for our family raising our kids here is it's so much the life I knew in my little town in the Central Valley. So in high school, I was able to play, like, I was football, basketball, and tennis, and then I was always a music kid, so played in band all the way through, like, concert band all the way through school, and then into college, like kind of a little bit louder and a little like all the bands you guys are talking about. That was the era I grew up in, so a lot of kind of rock music and all that, but lifelong lover of music, and again, my hometown represented the chance to be all those things at once, like Templeton is for so many. So I really dig that.
And so what instrument did you play?
So as like growing up in music in schools, I was a trumpet kid, but then
I was going to say let Andy and I guess, but trumpet. Okay.
yeah, and then I had played guitar kind of all my life, and that's kind of what carried me through my college years and playing in bands and whatnot.
So actual bands, not in like marching band.
Yeah, no organized like college band, but switched to just to kind of hang out with your buddies and play music kind of thing.
That's the worst kind of band you could be in too, because it's like having 5 girlfriends.
It had the potential to distract me from, like, eventually I met my wife and came to my senses and used my time much more productively from that point on.
Yeah, so we were doing a demo for Capitol Records in 2001, I think, and Allison graduated college and said, "I'm moving back to the Central Coast." And I said, "Well, I want to marry you." And she said, "Okay, well, you better move with me then." And so I just literally dropped my drumsticks and I went, "Okay, guys, I'm out of here. I'm leaving LA," and came back with her. So yeah, definitely, like, wives have a great way of saving you from potential disaster, right?
Couldn't agree more.
All right. So did you have a job in high school that you balanced with athletics and academics and music?
Yeah. I was primarily a lifeguard when I was in high school. So spent a lot of summers, and with my pasty white skin, that was probably a mistake in hindsight, because I have far too many sunburns that I should never have gotten. So
your parents bought stock in zinc. You had the bullfrog on your nose. Yeah,
several different shades. Absolutely.
And did you go to college out of state or in California?
Yeah, so my undergrad, I went to Utah to BYU, and then always knew I wanted to be back in California at some point, so moved back right after college. I was newly married and had our first little guy, Evan, back then, and then went and got my MBA in Cal State Dominguez Hills.
And what brought you to the Central Coast?
Yeah, great question. So I started back in the Central Valley, kind of my first job opportunity back in California was there. And then we got a wild hair and really liked the San Diego area. So moved down there for several years. And just we were living in the suburbs and realized that, life was great, but it was so busy and so crowded, and just that feeling of what I had experienced, small town life. We wanted to find it, and I had vacationed a lot as a kid, being from the Central Valley on the Central Coast, and kind of knew it for what it was, and took a chance and took the job at Templeton. 13 years ago now, and haven't looked back since, and never regretted that move.
So was Evan born in San Diego?
Evan was born in Utah. Kyle was born in the Central Valley. Luke was born in San Diego, and Reed was born in San Luis. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Abby was born at Twin Cities, and Noel was born in San Diego. Because we actually got a wild hair and said we're leaving the Central Coast once we got married, and then we ended up back down in San Diego and Temecula, and bounced kind of all around. But all right, so 13 years in the district for 13 years.
Yeah.
And you kind of got thrown into the superintendent position by default, just because there was a need. I don't remember the specific story, but it was kind of mid-year-ish, or how did that work out?
Yeah, so late in the last year of Dr. Koski, our former superintendent, late in the last year of his superintendency, kind of the writing was on the wall that he was going to transition and move on, and there wasn't a lot of time. So at that point, the board saw fit to do an interim superintendency for a year. And that was definitely a year of kind of regrouping as an administrative team, because we turned over, 3 out of the 4 principals, if I'm not mistaken. And so definitely, between the superintendent and several principal changes, it was a year of kind of rebuilding the team. And then this year was kind of on the heels of that interim year. So.
And I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, but I feel like I heard that you were reluctant to kind of pursue the role because you didn't feel that was your strength, but there was pretty much everybody around you saying, no, you're the guy. Can you please apply for this position? Is that kind of how it played out?
You know what?
I know you're going to be, you're not going to, you're going to be humble about it, but that was how I was told the story.
You know what? What I knew for the several years leading up to that was, having always been, even though I was the finance guy in the several districts I've worked in, I've always been kind of the right-hand person to the superintendent. So I've always been closely connected to the work. And over time, I love Templeton schools, and I watched for several years about how things were going. And at the period where there was that instability administratively, I felt like kind of an obligation and an opportunity to step forward and do my part, and kind of take a stab at leading the organization. So I guess the part you're describing might be better described as I didn't want to, I wasn't aspiring to do this unless I felt a high degree of support that the community, that's what they wanted. And I felt like through the year of my interim superintendency, I felt that support and appreciated it, and had more confidence to step forward and say, I'd like to do this.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I will tell you that there is somebody in the district that has said specifically to me, they've been in the district for over 15 plus years, and they've said that this top down is the best staff the district has ever had. And so for me as a parent, I love hearing that. Right. So that's obviously a testament to the job that you guys have done.
Well, thank you. And you know what, that was probably the single biggest motivator coming into this was, I was thrilled at the chance to lead a group, top to bottom, a group of people that are so committed to excellence and so committed to this being a special place, that it was like a no-brainer, because our staff is so strong, and the outcomes are a result of that. So.
Mm-hmm. Shelly Domingo says, I had no idea Andy was from the Imperial Valley. She grew up in Holtville.
It's a small world.
Small world. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Aaron, what are your top 3 artists music wise?
Gosh, I knew that was coming. So I will tell you this. I am a lover of all kinds of music. So did my playlist in high school include all the bands you described? Yes. I would, from that time, if I was going to reach back in time, Weezer probably was who did it for me most as a angst-ridden teenager. But then over time, I've loved country music. I've loved hip hop music. So my household was filled with 50s and 60s music because my parents, that was their era. So I love it all. As time goes on, and I guess I mellow out in what I seek out. I'm kind of drawn toward acoustic and a kind of folk music nowadays, but every now and then get a wild hair to show my kids what I listened to back then, and they kind of scratch their heads and laugh a little. So, yeah.
They're like, this band, really, Dad? Yeah. Oh, okay. So here's a question, because you guys are probably, again, similar ages. At what age did you discover the brilliance that is Bruce Springsteen? It took me years.
Yeah, early on, because it was I had a brother who was 5 years older, and so he exposed me to a lot of stuff, good stuff like that. So, and he continues to be part of my playlist for sure.
Awesome.
And I think my dad put the headphones on me when I was like 4 and said, "You will listen to Bruce Springsteen." So.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's the ultimate storyteller, right? It's that's good poetry for sure. All right. What about your books, Aaron?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm still a little more squarely in the space of kind of management and leadership. So a couple that are on my bookshelf would include, one is I've always been motivated by the Strength Finder approach. It's a series of books, but it basically operates under the premise that instead of looking to mitigate our weaknesses and focus our time and energy on those, we identify what our strengths are and then leverage those to our greatest degree of success. And so I find that a good approach to leadership too. Instead of looking around and seeing what people's deficiencies are, we try to leverage their strengths. Mm-hmm. So definitely tops on my list in terms of kind of my management views and approach. And then a funny one that just goes with the territory I got from one of our trustees who also kind of is in management in his world. It's called The First 90 Days, and it's just like it's a primer on how to get your arms around, be the new leader of an organization or new to management. So.
And that's an older book. I mean, I want to say I read it 10 or 15 years ago. Now, maybe 2008 or 9. I read it. Yeah, I was a new manager in a national role, and I was 30 years old, and they dumped me in this role, and somebody handed me the book and said, "Okay, read this. It's basically don't piss anybody off for 90 days. Just observe." Right?
A lot of wisdom there. And then you asked for a third one. It actually is one that Andy handed me the other day on the heels of having found a quote by a gentleman named Jay Billis, who's he's an ESPN kind of analyst now, but he was a basketball athlete and coach. And just kind of his worldview is hard work is the key to things. So Andy just handed me a book that I'm excited to read, but his quote had been something along the lines, it really spoke to me lately about kind of the price of admission to excellence. So hard work is the price of admission to sustained excellence. And so that really spoke to me that, we shouldn't expect things to be easy along the way if excellence is the goal. And so.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. What's the name of that book?
It's sitting on my desk. Andy, you'll have to tell me because you just gave it to me.
Toughness.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, the Strengths Finder one's interesting. This is a debate we have in our house all the time. Allison grew up with working on your weaknesses, right? And becoming a more well-rounded person. And I'm like the complete opposite. Like, okay, what's my strength? Okay, go 400% that way then. And surround yourself with people that kind of
mitigate your weaknesses, right? Yeah.
Totally, for sure. And so, okay, that's a good book to recommend. The First 90 Days I've read, I definitely would recommend that one. And then Toughness is the other one. Awesome. Yeah. All right. So what are plans for spring break? Are you guys just going to unplug for at least a day or two?
Andy, what's up for you?
Yeah, I might unplug for a day. There's a lot of work to do. So I have a feeling Aaron and I will both be plugging away in the office and getting ready for a return from spring break.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to try to not bother any of you guys next week because I know that, everybody's going to be focused on other things and family and those of you who have to work are just going to want to work. And so, yeah, it's a much needed spring break, I think, for a lot of people. So it'll be a good chance to kind of reflect and recharge for a minute.
I promise
Well,
to get my boys out in the water and do a little surfing. That's what we do to recharge, and go for a hike with my wife. Those will be on my short list of things to do.
Yeah, for sure. There's going to be good weather. And what's the swell supposed to be like next week?
Kind of modest, but getting out in the water, and any way you slice it, is very therapeutic for me. So
Yeah. And when's the last time you heard from Evan? How's he doing?
Evan's great. I talked to him Monday night, and he's charging ahead with figuring the world out as a recently graduated senior, and loving life in Florida. So yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you kind of sharing a little of what's behind the cape and the S for us today. Yeah, look, just know that everybody is rooting for you guys, and we know that we're in good hands as a community. You guys are continuing to work hard, and again, wouldn't trade your job. I wouldn't want to trade positions with either one of you guys for anything. So keep your heads up, and thank you again for everything that you guys do.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you, Mike. Have a great spring break.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Mike.
All right, see ya.
Bye-bye.
All right, so that's Andy and Aaron from the district office. Andy's the assistant superintendent, and Aaron Asplund is a 13-year Templeton school district veteran who is the superintendent. And so those guys, deserve. I don't know if we can we got to do something special for that whole staff over at the district, because they've just been completely their world has been turned upside down with this whole thing. Well, everybody's world has been turned upside down with it, but ultimately they're the ones that get to get all of the mud thrown at them, or blamed for all the things bad, and you know what I'm saying. They're the fall guys, right? Whether justifiably or not, they are the ones that take it. So Aaron and Andy, thank you so much for everything that you guys do for the district. And yeah, we've got to figure out a way to just give them some kind of, I don't know, barbecue or celebration. I feel like we need to cook them a pie or something. I don't know if you got an idea of what we can do specifically for the staff at the district office. I think we need to figure that out. But yes, Stacy, I agree. Great leadership team. They are phenomenal. All right, it's 8:47. It's the Wednesday, March 31st edition of the Morning Buzz. My name is Mike Brady. I'm the host. This is week 4 of the Morning Buzz. Next week, a little bit different. I'm wearing a tie-dye shirt today. It's the Templeton Eagles tie-dye cross-country spirit pack. I bought this, kind of a cool thing. So staying with the Eagles. But I'm going to do something different next week, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Definitely going to go live from 7 to 9, Monday through Friday. But I want to give the staff, the people that we've been checking in with at the district, a break for the week, because they're on spring break and they're working on other things that are way more important than coming on the show. The time that they do have next week is valuable, and a lot of them have kids, and those kids are going to be on spring break. So let's try to figure out how we maximize their time spending it with their families. And I don't want to add any more additional workload onto them during their break. So I'll figure out alternative programming for next week's show. And we'll go from there. But in case you're just joining us, we did have on today, Eric Lewis talked about April Fool's Day and the origin of that, which was interesting. Mr. Mack came on to talk about all the activities that are happening in athletics. Shauna Soltero is the creator of the virtual Easter egg hunt. I posted the link to that page, but that Facebook movement has over 9,000 people following it. And it's turned into an international thing that she created last year, an opportunity for people to connect and build community in the form of decorating Easter eggs, putting them out in your house, and then also going and hunting for those Easter eggs and posting where you find them. And there's a big map where it shows all the Easter eggs. Are a really cool idea and just another way for us to connect as a community. So congratulations on your success with that, Shauna. Coach Crow joined us. He talked about this week's football match. Soccer. Sorry, my microphone. This week's football game against AG is going to be a tough one, but we're going to figure out how to get through it. And the boys are working hard to get ready for that, and the coaches are working hard to get them ready. And then we had Aaron Asplund, the superintendent, and Andy Burnett on and sharing just some of their personal stuff, right? Andy's from the Imperial Valley, which is down southeast California. It's desert, it's farmland, it's close to the Mexico border. I actually really like that area. It's very humid a lot of the year. But I had an office out there for a few years, and I spent better part of a week out there. Every other week or so, I'd go out there for a couple years and live out of a hotel in El Centro. So I do like it down there. Mr. Asplund grew up in Tulare, which is another farming community, and son of a couple educators. And he actually chose not to get into education, but instead into business and went that route. And then subsequently ended back up in education. And so, yeah, cool to hear their backstory, get to know them a little bit. Both of them played sports in high school. Aaron Asplund plays guitar, and he played trumpet in the band. And they gave me some of their music that they like. Weezer was Aaron's. Weezer was kind of my age group too. Everybody liked Weezer. Andy had Pearl Jam and Tupac, and of course, like everybody loves Tupac, and then Rage Against the Machine, which I never really liked Rage Against the Machine when they were out. I liked them kind of after, because I really got into them musically and rhythmically. Like they were just a really cool genre of music with activism and angst and all of these things. So they gave me some of their Desert Island books that they recommend. So I'm going to put together that list to look into as well for you guys. I'm on day 2 of a 75 hard challenge. And just if you Google 75 hard, you'll see what it is. I went to the gym this morning at 3:40 and worked out till 5-ish. And then got out of there, got in the shower, came home, got the show prep going. I've got another workout to do today. I've got to drink a gallon of water. I'm doing no alcohol, no gluten, no sugar, no dairy, and no fun, as most people would say. So day 2, I don't know what I'm doing. This is one of those where, sometimes when you're ready to get into fitness and health, you're just ready, and then you just dive in and you're all in. I'm not ready yet. This is day 2, and I'm still kind of going, I'm on the fence, but I know that if I just stay the course and keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing, that day 25, day 27, I'll be like, I'm 27 days into this. I'm going to keep going. So that's what I'm hoping for. The hardest part is just showing up, they say, right? So speaking of showing up, Anthony Reed showing up early. Let's get him in. I've got Greg coming in at 8:55 to share his story. But Mr. Anthony Reed, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Mike, in talking about taking some time off, I'm taking the weekend off on April 16th. The week of the 16th, that whole weekend, because I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and we were talking about how crazy this year has been, and especially for me personally with all my surgeries and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And she made me realize that that I have like not been anywhere recreational except for a doctor's office every time I would leave the house.
Oh wow!
So I'm going up north with some family of mine on the weekend of April 16th. So
That'll be nice.
so yeah, all my scanners will be off. I'll be totally unplugged. So
Just checking out.
Yeah, so I'll be ready to go the next week. So
Very cool.
look forward to that in the next 2 weeks. So yeah.
Well, good. Yeah, that's something that everybody needs to do once in a while. Just unplug and recharge, and focus on anything but what you do on a daily basis. And
Right, because like I said, the only other place that I've been in the last year is to a doctor's office. So I'm like, I need to change the scenery. So
Sure. I don't blame you. All right. Well, anything going on in the news right now, and any incidents to report?
no, just a quick recap of what I reported in the first hour is just that there was a small vegetation fire in the area of Larrymore Park yesterday evening at around 8:30. The Paso Robles Fire Department was on it with quickness. Within about 20 minutes, they had it contained. They don't have any sort of lead as to what the cause was of the fire. Obviously, it's under investigation. And they did see a person that could have potentially been the source of the fire, but that hasn't been confirmed. So,
Got it.
So yeah, that's under investigation. Other than that, everybody's clear as of right now. So we're looking to have a good warm day here in Paso.
Awesome. Yeah, it's going to get up to 82 degrees, I think I saw.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Nothing better than a slow day in terms of any incidents and police action happening around the community. So good deal. Anthony, you wear that UCLA Bruins shirt proud today. I think they're probably going to lose to Gonzaga. But
I'm going with the Vince Lombardi saying, and that is any team can be any team on any given day. So
okay.
So
All right. Well,
that's why I'm going with it.
You do you. Absolutely. All right, man. Well, we will see you tomorrow morning. Thanks for keeping us updated today with everything that's going on.
All right. Sounds good. See you tomorrow.
Awesome. See you. Bye. All right, that's Anthony Reed. He runs Paso Robles Incidents and Actions. He reports on anything happening in and around the county. He has over 6,000 people following his page on Facebook, and they rely on him for his community service and reporting anything that's going on. So speaking of relying on people, I rely on this guy for my daily inspiration. Mr. Greg Nersessian, you're like the first person on the show that's not from the North County, Templeton, Paso Robles area. Welcome to the show.
How are you doing, Mike?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, man. Good. I know. Yeah, I'm not from the North County, but I was in Southern California. That's how we know each other.
That's right. Beautiful Covina. Ain't nothing like those Covina girls.
Oh man, in the froyo shops.
Oh man, we had such a great time. How did we not get arrested or fired from our jobs? That's what
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure that didn't happen. Maybe we just blacked out for a little bit. Whoa, what just happened there the last 2 years?
Yeah, I actually did get fired. Jack Silver fired me 3 times.
Stop. Shut up.
I swear, every time I came back to him, he's like, Onion, you can't just not show up to work. I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, man. Those are the days, man.
Yeah, life was so much simpler back then.
I know.
Right?
It really was.
So a little bit about Greg. Greg is from Covina. He went to Charter Oak High School. And you did go to Charter Oak, right? I just made that up.
Charter Oak High School.
Class of 95.
Yep.
And so Greg and I are the same age. We met working for a radio station, KLSX, in LA, and that was the Howard Stern station at the time. We were both on the promotions team. We drove vans around, went to live events, handed out stickers, basically used the van as leverage to pick up on girls and get access into all the coolest places in town.
Oh my gosh, man. I mean, was that not the hardest thing to give up? Were the perks that were associated? We got paid nothing, but we can get into anything we wanted.
It was so much fun.
Right?
I remember somehow we decided we were going to crash a house party on the beach in Newport. And so we somehow got a hold of this listener and ended up like going to their house party with the van. And we ended up just hanging out with them all day. That was the day that I was pumping this vivid memory. I would put the gas in the gas tank and I drove off.
Oh my God.
With the hose still connected to the van. And everybody's looking at this van.
I was just relaying this story to somebody like 2 weeks ago, and they thought I was like completely full of BS. They were like, no way that happened. I'm like, you don't understand. We were going down the road with the hose dragging down.
Oh, it was ridiculous. Yeah.
And I don't think we didn't drive it back. I think we just it fell off and
it fell out. We just kept going.
We just kept going.
We're not good role models.
Oh man, we're so lucky they didn't have like cameras on cell phones back then.
Right, for sure. All right, so your son, is he a senior or junior?
Junior.
Okay.
Yep.
And your daughter's 8th grade or freshman?
She's 8th grade.
8th grade. Okay.
Yep.
So next year we're gonna have a freshman and a senior. Your son, is he thinking about playing competitive baseball in college, next level?
Yeah, he definitely wants to. But you know how that goes. The last year and a half, man, that's been tough for the kids. They're all trying to figure out what the next step's going to be, and they can't really get in front of anybody, depending on what state you're in and even what county in that state. So, they're dealing with a lot of uncertainty.
Well, yeah, and it's a little different out there on the East Coast than California. Different rules and restrictions, and it's kind of a moving target any given day, any given week.
Yep.
But it seems like out here, anyways, we're kind of getting into a little rhythm, and have some sense of normalcy happening with sports. So that's been a positive. How about you guys?
Yeah, they're finally getting back there. So the baseball season for high school would have started about a month ago. They've pushed that another month. So they've been playing under a travel team name for the last couple of weeks, and then they'll start the high school season. It's like middle of April. So they're getting something in. It's just going to be a little bit shortened, and it's not starting till a little bit later. But that's what I'm talking about, is even within the state it's not consistent, because depending on where in the state of Maryland you are, that really dictated when they could start sports. So there are some teams that are already, 10, 12, 15 games into the season, and his team will be starting way later. So there's still going to be a good pool of teams to pull from in order to get it. It's just different,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, the reason why I wanted to have you on is I wanted to introduce you to really the community around me, and it's just a little bit of an insight into me, is introducing them to you. And one of the things that I just get daily inspiration from is the fact that you've been on this stupid run streak for over 4 years.
With no intention to stop.
Did you just wake up one day and say, I'm bored, I'm going to go for a run? And then
totally
snowballed?
Totally Forrest Gump style, man. No, I mean, honestly, the intention was this is back January 1st of 2017, was I'm going to run every day for the month of January. Mm-hmm. And then, and I got to the end of that month and I was like, well, let's make it a nice round 50 days. And then at 50 days, it was, well, there's really no good reason to stop, so might as well keep going. And now we're on over 4 years, man.
Jeez. So how many days have there been where you're like, no, I'm not going to do it?
Not too many. So the really tough ones are after like a longer event. So I still do, I'll run the races. I'll still do some triathlons. I don't do like super long distance triathlons anymore, but I will do longer running distance races. So it's like the days after the race is always the tough day. So that's like, it's like a real slow, 1.5 mile grind to get me to the point that I can continue the streak, and then it progressively gets better. But I think it lines up really well with life, man. I mean, there are some days that you're just going to feel completely like crap and totally down and out, but you stick with it for a day or two, and then you're going to pull through. You're going to feel great again. In a lot of ways, you're stronger for it, for those down days. So, I think at this point, it's kind of hopefully serves as motivation for my kids too, that when I'm telling them that they've got to get out and work for something, then I'm doing it by action and not just by something I'm telling them. They're seeing Pops drag his old butt out every day, and regardless of whether or not I'm limping around or not.
And how many days have you been sick in those 4 years? Like, have you ever been battling something?
So I can remember, like, going back a few years, I had the flu, and it was on my birthday, and I was running an event that day. But outside of that, like, I can't really remember any other like super sick days outside of just having like, oh, I've got allergies today and I feel a little bit down, but nothing. I don't know, man. Knock on wood, but it hasn't happened.
And you generally follow a pretty healthy diet, right? I know you're always experimenting with different seeds and things that you throw in your smoothies. Oils and seeds and all kinds of witchcraft stuff that you throw in there.
That's right. But,
that probably plays into obviously maintaining health, and obviously when you eat like crap and you drink a lot of soda, you're not feeling the most motivated to get out and run, right?
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, definitely the smoothies, I think they help. I mean, even if it's just a placebo effect, and all the stuff that I put in there, I feel like it's having an effect on me. I try to keep my diet relatively clean, but it doesn't mean I don't turn to the bad stuff every once in a while.
Sure.
But you go into it with the full knowledge that I'm not going to feel my best the next day. So as long as you can accept that, then you're good with it. Same thing with drinking. I mean, I won't have more than one or two, mainly because of how I'm going to feel the next day.
Right.
And I went for a long period of time where I just cut it out completely, and it wasn't like any really thought out process to it. It was just more that I just didn't feel like doing it for a while.
You wanted to fire on all cylinders, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, so I'm on day 2 of 75 Hard Challenge.
Awesome.
I don't know if it's awesome.
How are you feeling?
I'm not really feeling it. I'm in a space mentally where I'm not ready to just hit the reset button and get back on the horse. COVID, I'm not going to lie, for 2.5 years prior to COVID, or 2 years prior to COVID, we were at 4 a.m. club every day.
I love seeing it, man. That was a motivation for me.
Dude. And so I'm trying to get back to that space. And so today is day 2. I was at the 4 a.m. club yesterday. Part of the 75 Hard Challenge is you have to do 2 45-minute workouts. And so I actually did 2 workouts yesterday. I did a workout at the gym at 4 a.m. and then I ran 3 miles in the afternoon. Yeah. And look, it was a 45-minute 3 mile. So it wasn't super but it burned calories and it got my heart pumping.
Yep.
So it is what it is. I know that if I just show up and push through, by day 16, 18, 22, I'm going to be like, okay, now I'm ready and now I can keep going. But I'll tell you, cutting out alcohol, gluten, dairy, and alcohol, gluten, dairy, and sugar are the 4 things that I've just are completely being removed for the 75 Hard Challenge. Yeah, so 75 days of that, plus 2 45-minute workouts a day, plus a gallon of water, which I have no problem with because I drink a lot of water anyways. But then also 10 pages of reading. So that's the 75 hard challenge.
I love that, man.
And every day you mess up, you're back to day one.
Well, then don't mess up. I mean, you're 2 days into it, so now you're at what, 73 days?
Right, exactly.
You're good,
So-
man. You're good.
Yeah, well, but I will say I love getting on Instagram and seeing you out there in the snow, in the rain, in the dark, when you're out traveling on vacation. You're just finding the time to keep that streak going. That's impressive.
Yeah,
What,
no, I appreciate it, man.
What mentally, are you consumed by it now? Like, is it like you wake up every day and your whole day is wrapped around this? I've got to get this run in, or
No, I think it just kind of finds a way that I can fit something in. What I found out is over time, like I think I've told you, the very lowest that I can do is a mile, right? I try to keep it at the very least at 1.5 miles, but I've run as far as 62 miles in a day. But the way I do it is I do it all off the field. If it's a incredibly stressful day, or I know that I'm going to be, wrapped up in meetings and then the kids have games, then I know that I've got to be a little bit more deliberate in the planning, and I'm going to find about 15, 20 minutes that I can carve out. I'm going to bring my clothes with me. I'll just go run in a parking lot somewhere till I get that in. And to me now that feels normal, whereas in the past I'd be kind of, this is weird. I'm getting changed in a parking lot. I'm going to go run around for 1.5 miles, but it's just kind of part of the day now.
sure.
So I've always got to change of clothes with me. I've got a pair of running shoes with me, no matter where I go.
Mhm.
And that just in the event that, plans change or something comes up, that I've always got it with me and I don't have the excuse. And it just kind of, it takes that excuse away.
You travel for work at all?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of the country?
Not anymore.
Are you not at liberty to discuss?
So not anymore. I haven't traveled out of the country for, I don't know, 3-4 years now.
Okay, so I was wondering if any part of the run streak took place on foreign soil.
Yeah, in Iceland. I went with my brother a couple of years ago, and I planned that out. So like the plane trip, I had to factor in. We were doing it was a red-eye flight, so I got the run in like before I left for the flight, and then when we landed, as soon as we got to the Airbnb to check in, I made sure I got it done because I didn't want there to be any weird thing like timing-wise. It lined up where I was on different days and different time zones, and I just wanted it all to make sense.
Were you in the terminal at Ronald Reagan running on that treadmill?
Dude, that would be funny, wouldn't it? Just run on the treadmill?
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Oh, I think that totally work. Don't
great.
put it past me. And actually, now that you've given me the idea, that might be fun.
Sure, yeah. So has anybody else that you're friends with or that you follow back and forth, anyone else join in on the streak, or are you the only one?
No, I've had a few people that have jumped in on a streak for like, say, a month. There have been a few followers on Instagram that have started streaks, and they've continued on. I think one is almost at a year now, which is pretty cool.
Wow. So awesome.
I don't know what the plan is like overall, how much further they intend on going, but yeah, there have been a few where they've hopped in for like a month challenge and done something. But I think no matter what you're doing is great. Like if you're going to make your streak reading, or, hey, I'm going to watch a documentary and try to get smarter every day for a year or whatever it is, just get yourself a streak in something.
Sure,
it builds that consistency.
So what's the goal now? What's your end goal? Is it just till you die, or?
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on that, whether or not it would have to be like a really, really good excuse. Like there was a gnarly injury, obviously like something in my legs that would stop it. But But then I thought, I could also imagine just one day saying, hey, it's been whatever, it's been 5 years. I'm just going to call it today. On any random day, I'll just call it, and I'll deliberately take a couple of days off and then start something else up again.
Sure. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then you'd have regret. Like,
I know.
24 hours later, you'd be like, wow, what did I do?
I think I would. There partially, like right now, if it were to happen, I definitely would. But there have been times like this year, I've got a climb out in Washington State that I want to do, and I failed at it before. I failed at it a couple of times, which is why I'm going back. I'm like, I got to get this done. I want to do this summit.
What's the
summit?
summit?
Mount Rainier in Washington State. So I tried to do it a couple of years back, and we had to call it short because of weather. And like ahead of that, I was thinking, there's a pretty good chance you don't make it. A lot of people don't make it. And I thought I'd be really bummed out. But then when it happened, it was like this incredible calm and just accepting it. Like, hey,
Sure.
you're not gonna win everything, and you're not gonna win. Circumstances come up. You can only take it so far and challenge it. So for me, it was just, I'm going to set a date in the future. I'm going to try it again.
So on the climb in Mount Rainier, is it an all-day thing, and do you run before?
So that one was pretty well thought out too. So it's a 4-day thing overall. The first day, you're just you're going through gear, right? You have this out like you're at a base camp. So that one's pretty easy. I can get my run done before that. The next day, you get up and you go early. You go up. They take you up a little bit higher in the mountain, and then you're going to do a climb for a couple hours and then come back down. So the way I did it last time is I just got up way earlier. I got the run done. I had breakfast and then started the climb. And then and the next couple of days we're going to get tricky. So day 3, you start the climb really early in the morning. You're going to climb up to base camp, and then you summit ideally the next day, and then come back down. So the way I did that is I got up really early again, did the run. We took the bus up to where we were going to start the hike, and then we hiked up, and we came back. We got back like 5 or 6 o'clock the next day at night, and then I just went into the room, got changed, got in my running clothes, went out for the run that night, and then I was able to do it on those days. So, so far it's got done. So there has been some planning that I've had to do. Like, for example, with that climb, there's a 5-day option, and on that one, I wouldn't be able to do it because there'd be one of the days it would be up in the mountains, and I'd just look like a giant goofball if I'm like, hey, I'm running in all my mountaineering boots. I'm going to go run for a mile. They're going to be like, no, you got to be roped in. And, so it just wouldn't happen. But on this 4-day climb, it's doable.
Have there been days on the streak where it's like, shoot, it's 11:45?
Yeah. So not so much recently, but I used to coach Ty's baseball team, and there were days that we'd do tournaments that would just be all day long tournaments, and we'd get home like really late at night, and of course the kids would be starving, and you make dinner, and then it's like, all right, I got to get this done. I don't know that it's been as close as like 11:45, but definitely after 11 at night, where I'm like, I've got to do this now and get a mile and a half in. So yeah, so far I've lucked out.
What about like post game? Oh, let's go out for pizza and a beer, coach, and then you got a couple beers in you, and you still have to do it. Has that ever happened?
I've done it. I've done it like definitely with like a beer or two in me, where you've gone out for like a happy hour or something, and hey, the run's not done yet. I've just got to get it done.
Dedicated.
Yeah, it's happened though.
It's so easy to just say F it and have another beer.
Yeah, but I mean, like to your point, like with your challenge, you're going to get past a certain point where you're going to not want to start that 75 days all over again, right?
Yep.
So, regardless of whether or not you've had that beer or whatever it is, and thankfully for you, you've cut that out as part of this.
Yeah.
But if you hadn't, you're just going to get it done. You know,
Oh, for
you're going to
sure.
feel like you're going to feel like crap for that workout, but you're going to get it done so you don't have to start over again.
Mm. Wow. So, okay, outside of the running, what other workouts are you doing kind of in conjunction? Are you working out daily in the gym, or what do you do?
So not daily, but I go down there like 3 or 4 times a week. I'll go down, and I'm not like super regimented about anything I'm doing with it. So some days I'm just like, today will be more of a core day, or I'll kind of cycle through a whole bunch of different stuff. But the other thing I try to end it with is I try to do a sauna at the end of it, and then I get kind of geeked out on that Wim Hof stuff. I don't know if you followed that, but I'll do like
Because
so I'll do this. Yeah, I'll do the sauna for a while, and then I'll hop in and do like cold shower, and I feel like that sort of stuff helps me recover. So I'll do that to kind of end the day out. But yeah, nothing like super regimented. I'm trying to do a little bit better about getting that sort of stuff done now, because I think it'll help me out in the long term.
Yeah. So you brought up Wim Hof. He's a nut.
Yeah.
Complete nut job, right? But good type nut. Like it's all for the benefit of health and wellness. The other nut that you turned me on to, who I'm like absolutely man crush in love with at this point, is Jesse Itzler.
Oh man, Jesse Itzler is awesome.
He's insane, right?
So he's a Wim Hof guy too. Like he's gone to some of Wim Hof's the seminars he puts on, and he's he'll do the whole ice bath thing. He does those super long ultra challenges. I think this year he's looking to do it's like an ultra Ironman thing where he's doing an Ironman over the course of a couple of different days. And he'll just do these kind of bizarre off the wall challenges. He eats healthy though, that's part of his thing.
These guys all eat healthy, every single one of them. Right?
Yeah,
they're not doing beer commercials.
No, they're not doing beer commercials. And actually, let me make one other recommendation to you, because I know you follow along these guys.
Well, that was my next question. Is give me some more gold.
Okay,
right,
so
who else?
Right now is a guy called Iron Cowboy. If you don't follow him on Instagram, Iron Cowboy is doing. So he did about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, he did 50 Ironmen over 50 days over the United States. So he did a different state every day and knocked out an Ironman every day for 50 days straight. He just started, I think today he's on day 26, but he's doing 100 Ironman races in 100 days.
So does he have? He's got to have sponsors, right? Like
he's got sponsors.
This is his job at this point. I'm searching for him right now on Instagram. Iron Cowboy.
Yeah.
Iron Cowboy James. Is that him? Iron Cowboy James. Did I lose your sound? I think I lost your sound. Greg, we lost your sound. Did you? I think you muted yourself. Testing. I can hear myself. I just can't hear you. All right, figure out your sound. I'm pulling up Iron Cowboy. You there? Dude, I got no sound for you. What'd you do? Push mute? I'm so bummed. Nothing. I got nothing. All right, if you're joining us, you're still on with us. Greg Nersessian is a 4-year run streak dude who's a really good buddy of mine who I've known for over 20 years now, and he's having obviously sound issues. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to making sure his phone's working. But we were just getting into some good meat of what, I don't know if your Bluetooth's connected or what. This is making for really bad live stream though. I got no idea what happened. No, I got nothing. Total loss of guest audio. He was just getting into telling us other Instagram accounts and other people to follow that might be a good inspiration, because gosh, I need it for sure. And we've gone way long. It's 9:24 because I'm just super impressed with Greg, and I want to keep going with this story at some point. So I will get Greg back on, but I guess we'll call it a day for now. Greg Nersessian, you can follow him on Instagram. It's GNERC, G Nerk. Let me put that here. Oh, now I hear you.
You got me now?
I got you now. What'd you do?
I don't know, man. I had to like turn off the phone, restart the app again. I think it's when my Bluetooth disconnected in the car.
Yeah.
And then, I'm really technically challenged.
Well, I was just getting ready to close the show.
Okay.
And share your Instagram, but I've got, is this the guy right here?
That's
Iron
him.
Cowboy James? Okay. So let's see, day 27. We'll just click on something here. See if I can pull it up. Oh, does it not let me play those stories?
So you can get on his regular story because they'll start it out with a swim in the morning.
Okay, let's see here. Here's his food, some girl. He's doing some bike riding. So he's doing these Ironmans. He's doing 100 in 100 days?
100 in 100 days. And,
in different
I'm telling
states.
you, man, you following along now, obviously his body's breaking down. Your body breaks down after one of those things.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
he's in a bad way on some of those days. And then, other days he comes back and he looks halfway normal.
Well, it's like, remember Goggins? Like Goggins will be running with his toes falling off. And I mean, is that how you are too? Do you have like nasty feet right now?
Oh, dude, I'd show you my toes right now, but you might vomit.
Oh gosh.
They're pretty gross, man. I'm walking around with either blacked out toenails or they fall off. And that's the point that I'm at now. I've got two toenails that are completely off.
And is it worth it?
Yeah, it's worth it. Now, having thought back on it like a few years ago, I would have been disgusted. Like, what in the hell? Like, what am I even thinking? But now it's like, I don't even care. I'll wear flip-flops around and let them stare.
Jeez. Okay. So Iron Cowboy James, Greg, I'm putting up, let's see here. Do you care if people follow you on Instagram?
No, go for it, man.
Let's see. G Nerk, right?
Yep.
In Instagram. Okay. Yeah. G Nerk on Instagram is his what do you call it?
Handle.
I was gonna say gamer tag. No.
What's your 40?
Yeah, what's your 40? All right, so G Nerk, you can follow him to keep up with his run streak. Okay, we'll sign off. Give me one or two more guys to follow here because I need that inspiration. Iron Cowboy James.
Yep.
You guys can follow G Nerk, and who else?
Definitely Goggins.
Goggins, of course.
And then so another one that I draw a lot of inspiration from is Rich Roll. And I think you and I have talked about him before, Mike, but if not, like definitely give that guy a follow. He's into clean eating. He does some longer endurance races, but he's an overall positive dude, has a really great podcast. So listen to Rich Roll after you listen to Mike. Rich
Roll. Why does that not sound familiar?
He's good. It has a really good book out too. But he's an endurance athlete. He's now focused more on doing his podcast, but
I love it,
dude.
Dad athlete. We can be considered dad athletes, I guess.
Dad athletes
for sure. Okay, Rich Roll. I'm following him, and I will listen to his podcast today while I'm running.
Awesome.
Yeah. Greg, it's always fun to catch up with you. We don't see each other enough. I think the last time we saw each other was in 2012.
Yeah, it might be around there.
When I was out in DC.
Yep.
And you've been out to California a number of times since then, just saying. But yeah, we have to make sure our schedules align. And hey, I don't know if you know this, but a really good friend of mine, Andy Chanley, who I worked for, was a morning show producer for in LA, who worked at Y107 with me and then at Channel 1031. He just got cancer. He announced that he's in stage 2 cancer. He's 50. I think he's 53 years old. He was in my wedding. Awesome guy. But he's, full speed ahead battling it. He's super healthy otherwise.
Yeah.
Takes care of himself. He's got a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old. So he's just starting his cancer journey right now.
Yeah.
So I've been going down to LA. I'll be traveling down there a few times here in the next 5 or 6 months to kind of support him. But if you are coming to LA at any point in the near future, we got to hook up.
Will do. Hey, and good vibes to your buddy Andy.
I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. All right, Greg. Cheers, man.
All right. Cheers, buddy.
See ya.
Take care.
All right. G Nurk, Greg Nesessian. Love that guy. We were such fanboys of Howard Stern. We would lay on the bed at all hours of the night, just listening to tapes of Howard Stern in his room and laughing our butts off. We had such a good time together as kids. All right, we'll check back in with Greg. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for as long as you did. I'm going to cut that segment out and air it as its own segment because it's I love it. I love fitness motivation. I love health and well-being motivation. And I love Greg. And so I think the whole world needs to know Greg's story. 4.24 years, 1,550 days run streak, going strong. So congratulations, Greg. Hey, it's the Morning Buzz Wednesday, March 31st edition. 2.5 hours. That's a show record. Congratulations for hanging out with me this long. Hope everyone has a great day today, and we will talk to you guys